Chapter 1. Shadows of Innocence *. The day Bran's father died was a blur of tears and confusion. At just 8 years old, he couldn't fully grasp the permanence of death, but he understood the aching emptiness that followed. His father had been his hero, a warm, protective presence who made their small, modest home feel like a fortress. Without him, everything felt cold and uncertain. Ruth, his mother, was inconsolable. Grief consumed her, but beneath her mourning, fierce determination took root. She resolved to provide for Bran, to ensure he would never want for anything despite their loss. Ruth threw herself into her work, juggling multiple businesses and tirelessly building a financial foundation for their future. But in her relentless pursuit of stability, she overlooked the emotional needs of her son. Bran, still reeling from his father's death, needed comfort and security. Instead, he found himself increasingly alone, lost in a world that no longer made sense. Ruth began leaning on her brother, Bernard, to help fill the void left by Bran's father. Bernard was a man of power and influence, well respected in their community. He was charming and generous, always ready with a smile and a reassuring word. Ruth trusted him implicitly. Bran needs a strong male figure in his life, she reasoned. And who better than my brother? But Bran's instincts screamed otherwise. From the moment he was first left alone with Bernard, something felt wrong. Bernard's smile was too wide, his gaze too intense. Bran didn't have the words to articulate his unease, but he knew he didn't want to be near his uncle. Mom, I don't want to go to Uncle Bernard's, Bran pleaded one evening as Ruth packed his overnight bag. Bran, we've talked about this, Ruth said, her tone wary. I have a big meeting tomorrow, and I need you to behave. Uncle Bernard loves you, and he's doing us a favor by taking care of you. But I don't like it there, Bran protested, his voice trembling. Ruth knelt down and placed her hands on his shoulders. Bran, I know things have been hard since we lost him. But I'm doing this for us. Trust me, okay? Uncle Bernard is family. He'd never hurt you. Her words silenced him, though they did nothing to ease his dread. That night, as Bernard closed the bedroom door behind him, Bran realized his worst fears were justified. Bernard's charm was a mask, hiding a darkness that no one else seemed to see. Bran's innocence was stolen in the shadows of that room, and with it, his trust in the world around him. The abuse continued for years, hidden beneath Bernard's polished exterior and Ruth's obliviousness. Bran tried to resist, to find ways to avoid staying with his uncle, but Ruth dismissed his protests as childish whims. Stop being so dramatic, she would say. You're lucky to have an uncle who cares so much about you. Bran stopped trying to explain. Each time his cries for help went unheard, a piece of him withered away. He learned to bury his pain, masking it with silence and detachment. As the years passed, Bran became a shell of the boy he once was. His laughter faded, replaced by a quiet bitterness that Ruth mistook for teenage rebellion. She had no idea of the nightmare unfolding right under her nose, nor the resentment brewing in her son's heart. By the time Bran turned 18, the boy who once idolized his mother now harbored a deep hatred for her. He saw her as complicit in his suffering, blind to the horrors she had unknowingly allowed into his life. And Bernard, now a prominent figure in society, adored by many, remained untouchable, his crimes buried beneath his reputation. Bran's anger festered, poisoning every relationship he tried to form. He couldn't trust anyone, couldn't believe in goodness or love. His life was a constant struggle to suppress the memories that haunted him, memories he feared would consume him completely. But even in the darkness, a small ember of hope remained, a flicker of a future where he might find peace, justice, and perhaps even love. He didn't know it yet, but that ember would soon be fanned into a flame that would change everything.